Did you know Eddie Levert has 7 children? Not just 3, as most of us always believed. Behind the legendary voice of the OJs lies a story far deeper than music. At 82, Eddie Levert isn't just a soul icon, he's a father who has survived unimaginable loss. He's buried not one but 2 sons, Gerald and Shaun, both celebrated artists who died suddenly. And now, tragedy has struck again. His only daughter, Ryan, has passed away at just 22 years old. So who is Eddie Levert, really? How many times has he been married? What do we know about his private life, his hidden children, his lifestyle, and the $18 million empire he built over a career spanning 5 decades? From the rise and fall of the OJs to his enduring grief, luxurious homes, and quiet resilience, this is the real story behind the raspy voice that defined a generation. Stay with us as we uncover the man behind the music. Who was Eddie Levert married to? Over the course of his life, Eddie Levert, legendary lead singer of the OJs, has experienced not only great musical triumphs, but also deep personal loss. His journey through love and family has been marked by 2 marriages and the joys and heartbreaks that come with raising children in the spotlight. His first wife, Martha Levert, was born in 1942. She and Eddie married in 1966 during the early days of his music career. Their relationship was one rooted in shared dreams and the challenges that came with Eddie's rising fame. Together, they had 2 sons, Gerald and Shaun, both of whom would go on to follow in their father's footsteps and carve out successful careers in R&B. While Eddie toured the world with the OJs, Martha remained the emotional anchor at home, supporting their sons as they found their own voices in music. But as years passed, the marriage came to an end. Despite their separation, Martha remained closely connected to her children's lives, and to Eddie's by extension. Tragically, she endured every mother's worst nightmare, the loss of both of her sons within a 2-year span. Gerald Levert died unexpectedly in 2006 at the age of 40, followed by Shaun Levert in 2008, who was just 39. The shock of these losses left a lasting wound that never fully healed. When Martha passed away on January 2, 2020, at the age of 77, her granddaughter Carlicia Levert took to Instagram to share the news, expressing heartfelt love and gratitude for the woman who had held their family together during the hardest of times. Years after his divorce from Martha, Eddie Levert found love again. In 2005, he married Raquel Capleton, a woman who would come to play a vital role not only in his personal life, but in his emotional recovery. Raquel gave birth to their daughter, Ryan Levert, and became a source of stability and compassion during some of the darkest chapters of Eddie's life. The death of his 2 sons had left him devastated, but Raquel's presence brought a renewed sense of purpose and healing. Raquel and Eddie have built a quiet life together, away from the glare of fame. In their home, they created a nurturing environment for Ryan, who represented a new beginning and a beacon of hope for Eddie in his later years. Though the family suffered another heartbreak with the passing of Ryan at just 22 years old, Raquel's strength and unwavering love have continued to carry Eddie through unimaginable sorrow. Who are his children? Gerald Levert. Born on July 13, 1966, Gerald Levert inherited more than just his famous father's name. He inherited a voice that could move mountains. As the son of Eddie Levert, lead vocalist of the legendary OJs, Gerald was born into music. From a young age, he was immersed in the sounds of soul, surrounded by melodies and emotions that would shape his life's path. In the late 1980s, Gerald stepped into the spotlight with his brother Shaun and their close friend Mark Gordon to form the R&B group Levert. Their chemistry was undeniable. Fusing R&B, soul, and pop, the trio delivered unforgettable hits like Casanova and My Forever Love. Gerald's rich, emotive vocals became the heart of the group, and his talent stood out as a defining feature of their sound. After the group eventually disbanded, Gerald didn't fade. He rose even higher. He launched a solo career that would earn him critical acclaim and a fiercely loyal fan base. Albums flowed, each one marked by his signature velvet voice and deeply felt lyrics. Songs like Baby Hold On to Me, I'd Give Anything, and Mr. Too Damn Good weren't just hits. They were confessions, stories, and windows into his soul. Gerald's music wasn't manufactured for radio, it was crafted for connection. His themes of love, vulnerability, and human struggle resonated with audiences across generations. He also thrived as a collaborator, most notably joining forces with Keith Sweat and Johnny Gill to form the supergroup LSG, Levert Sweat Gill. Their 1997 album produced the smash single My Body, once again showcasing Gerald's power to elevate any project with his voice and presence. But behind the music, there were struggles. On November 10, 2006, Gerald's life was cut tragically short at the age of 40. The cause was an accidental combination of prescription and over-the-counter medications, a heartbreaking end for a man who had so much more to give. His passing left a deep void in the world of R&B, but his legacy as a gifted singer, songwriter, and producer lives on. Shaun Levert. Born just 2 years after his older brother, on September 28, 1968, Shaun Levert was also destined for the stage. As the younger son of Eddie Levert, Shaun grew up in the same musical environment, surrounded by soul and song. He joined his brother Gerald and Mark Gordon to form Levert, and together they built a name that would dominate the R&B charts throughout the 80s and early 90s. Shaun's voice brought depth to the group's harmonies, and his charismatic delivery helped carve out their distinct identity. While Gerald often took center stage, Shaun's contributions were essential to the group's success. He had a smooth vocal timbre that gave songs richness and emotional layering. Yet behind the music, Shaun faced personal battles. Over the years, he struggled with legal issues and addiction, fighting demons that never quite loosened their grip. In 2008, while serving a 22-month jail sentence for unpaid child support, an amount totaling $90,000, Shaun's health took a dramatic turn. While incarcerated, he began experiencing complications and was rushed to a hospital. Tragically, on March 30, 2008, Shaun Levert passed away at the age of 39. The official cause of death was attributed to complications from sarcoidosis, a condition that affects the lungs and other organs. His death came just 2 years after Gerald's, compounding the grief for the Levert family and the fans who had watched the brothers rise and fall far too soon. Despite his struggles, Shaun's musical legacy lives on. Ryan Levert. The youngest of Eddie Levert's children, Ryan Levert was born from his marriage to Raquel Capleton, whom he wed in 2005. As their only daughter together, Ryan was a bright presence in the Levert household and a symbol of new beginnings for Eddie after years of heartbreak. She grew up surrounded by music and love, and her natural charm quickly made her a beloved figure among her father's fans. Described as graceful and captivating, Ryan stood as a quiet testimony to the passage of time, an embodiment of Eddie's legacy continuing into a new generation. Tragically, in late 2024, Ryan Levert, the youngest daughter of legendary OJ's lead singer Eddie Levert, passed away at just 22 years old. The heartbreaking news was confirmed on Instagram by her nieces, Lamicah and Carlesia Levert, who are the children of the late Gerald Levert, Eddie's eldest son. "Whenever you didn't answer the phone, I knew something was wrong. And now I'm going to have that feeling forever," Lamicah wrote in a touching tribute. "I love you," at Miss Ryan Levert. "I wasn't prepared for this." Carlesia also honored her aunt by sharing a photo on her Instagram story, accompanied by purple heart and dove emojis. No details about the cause of death have been made public. However, Ryan's Instagram bio previously mentioned that she had been battling lupus, an autoimmune disease that can have serious health complications. A representative for Eddie Levert, now 82, declined to comment at the time. On social media, Ryan often shared intimate moments with her father, including sweet pictures and behind-the-scenes glimpses of her life. In 2023, she posted joyful clips from her 21st birthday celebration. Her final post, made at the beginning of the new year, carried a hopeful message. "Happy 2024, she wrote, alongside photos from a glamorous photo shoot. Praying for good health, more love, and more laughter. Sadly, that prayer would go unanswered." Eddie Levert has spoken openly in the past about how deeply the deaths of his sons affected him. In a 2011 interview with Cleveland.com, he reflected on the emotional toll. "I still wonder, was it something I did? Maybe that's why I've made so many changes in my life. To better myself and try to be a better father, a better husband, a better friend. Maybe that's the reason why, for me to come to a better place. But I can't dwell on it. It becomes very emotional for me." He added quietly, "I really miss them. It's just hard. But I can't get caught up in the fact that it wasn't supposed to be like this because it happened. And there was nothing I could do about it." Now, with Ryan's passing, Eddie Levert must once again find strength in the face of unspeakable loss. Eddie Levert, Jr. Unlike his famous father and late brothers, Eddie Levert, Jr. has always chosen a life away from the spotlight. He's the son of Eddie and Joyce Hogan, and though little is publicly known about him, one thing is clear. He's played a vital role behind the scenes. For many years, Eddie Jr. has served as his father's manager, handling the business while staying out of the headlines. Quiet, private, and loyal, he has been one of the key people keeping Eddie's career moving forward. Candace, Eurydice, and the second Shaun. Little is publicly known about Eddie Levert's other children, Candace, Eurydice, and another son named Shaun. These siblings have remained completely outside of the public eye, never pursuing careers in music or entertainment. It is believed that they are children from previous relationships after Eddie's separation from his first wife, Martha Levert. While the spotlight has mostly shone on Gerald and Shaun, Eddie's other children have quietly lived their lives, honoring their father's legacy in their own private ways. Each of them represents a piece of Eddie's story. A life filled with fame, sorrow, survival, and a deep, enduring love for family. Eddie Levert, net worth. Eddie Levert, the legendary frontman of the OJs, has built a remarkable career spanning over 6 decades, and with it, a net worth estimated at $18 million. Known for his powerful voice and soulful delivery, Eddie earned his fortune as a singer, songwriter, and producer. His musical roots run deep in the genres of blues, soul, and funk, but it was as the lead vocalist of the OJs that he truly made his mark on the world. Born on June 16, 1942, in Bessemer, Alabama, Eddie was raised in Canton, Ohio, where his love for music took shape. Eddie Levert's passion for music took root early in life. Raised on a steady diet of gospel hymns sung in church and the rhythm and blues sounds that filled the airwaves during his youth, he found himself captivated by both. These influences, gospel's soul-stirring spirituality and R&B's emotional depth, would eventually shape his signature sound. As a boy, Levert sang in the church choir, where he developed the powerful, heartfelt vocal style that would later define his career. The discipline of performing in church gave him not only a strong foundation in music, but also an early taste of the stage. During his high school years, Levert met Walter Williams, a kindred spirit who would become both a lifelong friend and musical partner. The two bonded over their shared love of music and decided to form a group. Alongside classmates William Powell, Bobby Massey, and Bill Iles, they created their first ensemble, the Triumphs. Performing at local events and talent shows, The Triumphs earned a name for their tight harmonies and crowd-pleasing performances. Eventually, they rebranded themselves as the Mascots, and in 1961 recorded their first single, Miracles. While it didn't make waves on the charts, it marked an important milestone in their journey as artists. In 1963, a turning point came when the group connected with Cleveland DJ Eddie O.J. As a tribute to him, they adopted the name The O.J.'s, a change that marked the beginning of their rise to national recognition. Their breakthrough arrived in 1967 with I'll Be Sweeter Tomorrow Than I Was Today, a song that gained modest success and opened doors to bigger opportunities. By the early 1970s, the O.J.'s had signed with the iconic Philadelphia International Records, where they worked with legendary producers Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. That partnership produced some of their greatest hits and established them as pillars of soul music. Over the decades, the O.J.'s collected numerous accolades, most notably their 2005 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Through changing times and personal tragedies, their music has remained timeless, a testament to their talent, resilience, and the lasting impact of Eddie Levert's early love for song. Despite the evolving landscape of the music industry and the heartbreaking loss of several group members, Eddie Levert has never stepped away from the stage. His commitment to performing with the O.J.'s remains as strong as ever, a testament to both his resilience and his deep love for music and the fans who have stood by him for decades. It was under the expert direction of producers Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff that the O.J.'s truly found their voice. With a sound that fused rich, soulful harmonies with sweeping arrangements and powerful, socially aware lyrics, the group carved out a distinct identity. This collaboration gave birth to a string of unforgettable hits, most notably the 1972 anthem Backstabbers, which catapulted the O.J.'s into the spotlight and solidified their place in music history. Eddie's dynamic stage presence and raspy, emotive vocals became a signature of the group's identity. Over the years, the O.J.'s released a string of commercially successful albums, many certified gold or platinum by the RIAA. In 1972, Backstabbers earned a gold certification and brought in an estimated $500,000. The following year, Ship Ahoy reached platinum, adding another $1 million. Their live album, The O.J.'s Live in London, 1973, also struck gold with $500,000 in earnings. The hits kept coming. Survival, 1974, earned $500,000, and Family Reunion, released later that same year, hit platinum with $1 million in sales. Message in the Music, 1975, and Travelin' at the Speed of Thought, 1976, both reached gold, earning $500,000 each. Then came So Full of Love, 1977, and Identify Yourself, 1978, both of which reached platinum and brought in $1 million apiece. Even in the 1990s, the magic endured. Emotionally Yours, 1990, sold enough for gold status, earning another $500,000. In addition to his musical achievements, Eddie also appeared on screen in the 2003 film The Fighting Temptations, performing the uplifting song He Still Loves Me. That same year, he and the O.J.'s were honored with the BET Lifetime Achievement Award, a recognition of their lasting influence on R&B and soul music. The tragic fate of Eddie Levert's residence. The home once owned by the late R&B icon Gerald Levert was tragically destroyed in a fire on the night of April 17, 2010. Fire crews who arrived at the scene described the blaze as intense and overwhelming, ultimately declaring the residence a total loss. The destruction marked a heartbreaking end to a property that had once echoed with the voice and presence of one of soul music's most beloved figures. Gerald had purchased the house in April 1994 and lived there until his sudden death from a heart attack in November 2006 at just 40 years old. Since his passing, the home had stood vacant, a quiet, almost sacred reminder of the singer's legacy. When firefighters arrived around 11 p.m., they found the home already consumed by flames. Despite their best efforts, they battled the fire through the night and remained on the scene until nearly 6 a.m. the following morning. The cause of the fire remains under investigation by the Newberry Township Fire Department and the State Fire Marshal's office. The property, which included nearly 9 acres of land, has been the subject of conflicting appraisals. The Geauga County Sheriff's Office valued the estate at approximately $510,000, while county auditors placed the figure higher at $658,000, an indication of how complex property valuation can become, especially under such circumstances. To further complicate matters, the 3 mothers of Levert's children have each made legal claims to the estate, creating a tangle of ongoing proceedings and delays. Despite efforts by county officials to sell the property, it has yet to find a buyer. The ruins of Gerald Levert's former home now stand as a somber symbol of the fragility of life, of the unfinished business left behind, and of a legacy that still resonates with fans and loved ones alike. As legal disputes unfold and the investigation into the fire continues, the fate of the property remains unresolved, a quiet monument to a life cut short and a voice that will never be forgotten. Life, according to Eddie Levert. Eddie Levert, the enduring frontman of the OJs, has never been one to slow down. And that's precisely what's helped him stay healthy. Even into his 80s, Eddie continues to bring a high-energy performance to the stage, crediting the intense shows with keeping his heart pumping and his blood pressure in check. "It keeps everything balanced," he once shared. "Cholesterol, heart rate, all of it." For him, performing isn't just passion, it's medicine. Years of touring have taught Eddie more than just the rhythm of the road. Living in close quarters with fellow musicians showed him the truth about human nature and friendship. "You learn that some people aren't going to change," he said, "but a real friend sees your flaws, accepts them, and keeps on loving you anyway." Reflecting on his earlier days, Eddie admitted he once lived hard. 3-4 days straight without sleep, just partying until I dropped, he recalled. "That kind of lifestyle will age you faster than anything. Rest is the one thing you can't cheat." Over time, Eddie came to value quieter moments with family more than fame or fortune. "Being home with my kids, that was more precious than anything else I could have given them." He remembered owning 5 cars at one point, only to realize most of them just sat unused. "That's when I understood. Things aren't what matter. What really matters is the happiness of the people you love." Eddie's relationship with his second wife, Raquel, marked a turning point. "When I met her, I had no intention of ever getting married again," he admitted. "I'd never really been faithful, even during my first marriage, but with Raquel, I decided I wanted to try, to finally be everything I could be in a relationship." He laughed. "Some might say I'm henpecked, but I'm a better man because of her." He also spoke tenderly about his son Gerald, describing him as a workaholic driven by the pressure to succeed. "Gerald was always thinking about the next record, the next show. It was all I could do to keep him from worrying himself sick. In the end, the music wore him down." Eddie shared stories with warmth and humor, like his first eager trips to the Las Vegas Strip. "At first, I couldn't wait to see it all. Then I realized if I kept going up there, I wouldn't be able to afford living out in the suburbs. Now," he chuckled, "it doesn't even exist to me." One of his most unforgettable moments was meeting Nelson Mandela. He had such a sense of humor, Eddie remembered. He was teasing his secretary, telling her to sit on his lap. We joked that he was a ladies' man, and he said, "Not anymore." With age, Eddie's perspective has grown sharper. "After you bling yourself out," he mused, "you start to ask, what was it really worth? Who did it help?" These days, Eddie is more focused than ever on preparing for the future. "I don't put things off anymore. I want to make sure my family's secure when I'm gone." His grief for Gerald still runs deep. but so does his faith. The word says I'll see him again. I'll get to smack him upside the head and say, "Why did you do this to me?" That's what helps me get through it. Their shared story is told in I Got Your Back, a father and son. Keep it real about love, fatherhood, family, and friendship. A deeply personal book co-authored by Eddie and Gerald Levert. Now at 83, he's not just a soul legend, he's a living testimony to resilience and the power of staying true to oneself. But what part of Eddie Levert's life moved you the most? Was it his bond with his late sons, his enduring marriage to Raquel, or the wisdom he's gained through hardship? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love stories about legendary artists, their families, their homes, and the fortunes they built, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the lives behind the legends.